Welcome back to the Injunuitive Podcast. I got Drives the Common Man with me. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. I send out a lot of emails and stuff, and you were just kind of quick on it. Hey, man, yeah, that sounds cool. Let's make it happen. I had to reschedule, man. Like this weather down here in Oklahoma, it's been hot the past month. And then all of a sudden this rain comes through and now it's 60 degrees and it's just messed me up, man.
Same thing here, except for it just gets hot for like 4 days and then it gets cold for another 4 days and then it gets hot again. So I'm holding my breath on
it. Yeah, man. It's nice to meet you, man. You said you're kind of a pop artist.
Yeah.
What did you describe it as?
Yes, I described it as booty shaking music. Yeah,
that's good. I kind of got that vibe, man. Like a poppy type stuff, and it was different. And, that's the whole point of this podcast. Is I didn't even know there were natives doing this kind of music. Like I think of native artists, they're either country or rap or gangster rap and stuff at that. And
yeah,
it was kind of cool. I listened to was All Night, the Night Vision, and the PS I Still Like You.
Yeah,
and those are pretty good, man. I like them.
I appreciate that,
bro. Can you give us a little background on where you from, what tribe, all that good stuff?
Yeah, man. I'm a Mi'kmaq First Nation. My family comes from a little res called Eskazoni in Nova Scotia, Cape Breton Island. But I was born. It's always a loaded question when people ask me where I'm from because I was born in British Columbia.
Uh-huh.
But my family's from the East Coast, and then but I live in like Southern Ontario, so I'm a coast to coast baby.
I bet that's kind of, you're just like, are you ready for this? Are you?
Yeah.
And
anytime someone asks me that, I'm like, do you want to be more specific about that? Because I'll go into the whole thing.
How did you get started with all this? Like,
mostly just like when I was a kid, like my parents were like really into music. Like my dad used to play in bands when he was younger, and my mom has been singing since she was young. So like when I was growing up, my family's always had like country music television always playing, like every time I woke up in the morning. And then I'm not a huge country fan. I like a lot of the older country stuff, but I was like really into just music in general and like rock music when I started growing up a bit more.
Uh-huh.
And then I became like a preteen, got really into punk rock music and still really into punk rock music, and started playing and made my first band, like my first punk rock band. And then just kept joining and leaving punk rock bands as the years went on, and started playing in like heavier music, like hardcore punk music, like playing drums for a band called Jock.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started like an emo core pop punk kind of band during the pandemic too, just to like keep my roots alive kind of, because I started playing in like kind of heavier music and like rock music, but like I also wanted to like express myself through the other types of music that I got really into in my life, like hip hop or pop music, kind of more of like the soca dance hall kind of music I got really into, and just kind of like seeing what I could do with all that kind of stuff while still kind of like keeping my punk rock voice over all that stuff to kind of create my own kind of sound. So yeah.
So you kind of just been all over, huh?
I've been all over. I love it. I love it all.
That's pretty cool. That's kind of how like I am, man. Like, I mean, with me, you really can't go wrong. Like it's, I'll listen to this, I'll listen to that, and just whatever. But
it's the best way to be.
I like, for the life of me, metal is kind of been like my stuff here late. Like, I like hip hop. I've had my hip hop phase and country phase and all this stuff, and it's just like the metal scene. I don't care what, how metal it is, whatever, just getting into it or whatever. I like all of it. Specifically.
Yeah, that's the good stuff. I like going to I wasn't really into metal. I was more into just like hardcore, but it kind of, those two genres kind of mixed together at some points. Like a lot of bands were kind of like hardcore, but they were like had a lot of metal influence. So I got like into that stuff, but the shows are fun. Like I love going to those shows.
Yeah. I had a buddy, JP, shout out to my boy JP.
Mm.
You know, he doesn't really listen to that kind of music. And
Mhm.
we went to a Slipknot concert back in March. And like he had a blast, and he's asking me, hey man, when's next concert? When we, I'm ready to go back to another concert. And I always tell people that it's just like, dude, like when you find these bands that put on shows, you can't beat it when it's live.
Nah, for real.
It's
And it's
crazy.
like I feel you though, like bringing like a non-punk kid or anyone who's not really into that music to a hardcore show or a punk show, like at first they're kind of scared, but then they're kind of like, you got to get them in the mosh pit, and they just start vibing. It's kind of cool. I like introducing people to stuff that way.
Yeah. Like he's definitely ready to go back and stuff. Like he's so who kind of influenced you?
A lot of different things, like musically, just from the beginning, probably like just kind of like the early 2000s kind of punk bands at the very beginning, like Blink, Green Day, and Sum 41, Billy Talent, and
now you're speaking
those bands.
language,
Yeah,
man.
you
Yeah,
know what I mean? Because like Canadian television back when they played music on Much Music and MTV, like a lot of I remember when like the top 3 songs one of the top 2 songs that were going around on the countdowns were Red Flag by Billy Talent and This Could Be Anywhere in the World by Alexis on Fire. So it's like 2 punk rock bands. Like even Alexis on Fire is kind of a hardcore band, and that was huge. Everyone was into that. And then I grew up and started listening to more punk rock and getting more into like the older guys like Bad Religion, Descendants, huge Descendants fan, and NoFX, and it's just getting deeper into the punk stuff and just like loving it. And then use a lot of that as influence, especially Blink. Like Blink is always going to be my favorite band of all time. You know what I mean? People will kind of hate on them, but it's like, man, they're punk. I don't care what anyone says. Like they're a punk band. You know what I mean?
To me, that's where it all started. Like, I play a bunch of instruments, sing and all that stuff like that. And I was like, to me, that's what I wanted to play. When I was 12 growing up, it was like, I wanted to play the bass like Mark, I wanted to play that just a little, it wasn't nothing difficult, to today's standards and stuff, but it was just like the melodies and stuff. Tom the same way, just the different melodies he would kind of throw together. It wasn't difficult when I learned it. It was just the melody, the notes, the keys that he put together. It was magical. When I figured out how to play it, it was just like, I'm the king of the world right now, man. You can't tell me nothing.
That's the best thing about punk for me, is like I've never been a great guitarist or a great drummer or a great singer at all, but being influenced by those bands where they weren't good at any of those things really, but they could write a really good song, a great melody. And I keep that spirit in my pop music, where it's like, it's not difficult music, it's not very intricate music, but like it has like, I keep melody very close to me, like, because that's what Blink did. Like they were always, and same with the Descendants, like they were like one of the first bands that like made aggressive music that was like practically pop music, but it was it was for the weirdos too. Like it wasn't just for like everyone who's listening to top 40 and stuff like that. So it's like I try to keep that spirit alive in me. Like I still sing like I'm in a punk band in my pop music, and I don't sing very well, but I can sing loud, and that's like always been like important to me. And it's like that's what I got from the punk scene, and that's what I got from listening to like pop punk and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was kind of like, who cares, dude? Like let it fly.
It's all about like, as long as you're like comfortable with the style of music that you play and you like the music that you're making, it doesn't matter if you can sing well or not. It's like people are gonna like that you have the confidence to do that stuff anyways. And it's like being in a punk band in high school did not give you any sort of like cool guy card at all. You were like, no one gave a crap. Like it was like whatever. Like they didn't really care about that. So like having that mentality of like, man, I think I'm the coolest person in the world for being in a punk band. I don't care what anyone else thinks. So go to make pop music. It's like, I don't care at all. Like I literally have no fear at it, because I grew up with that mentality of like, no one cares. No one's going to care as much as I care. So I'm just going to go with it. And then now people, it seems like some people are starting to care. So it's like, okay, well, that, as much as that doesn't matter to me, that's cool, because that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Like I grew up in rural Oklahoma, and it's like, I had a buddy in like 7th grade. he come from California, and he brought this it's a skateboarding catalog from CCS.
Yeah.
And like, that was all the stuff, Blink 182, they're all from California. And I was like, this is the stuff that they wear. Back then there wasn't no, 2 days shipping and stuff like that. It was like, you got to get a money order, send it. It's going to take a week to get there. It's going to take a week for them to process. And then, so you're looking at 3 weeks before you get the stuff. But,
speaking of that, I'm literally wearing my Dickie shorts right now. So shout out to Southern California, early 2000s pop punk culture.
Everybody's like, oh, he's trying to be a skater. He's trying to well, that I had a phase of that too. But it was just
they kind of went hand in hand at one point though. Like it doesn't anymore at all. I mean, like, I shouldn't say that because I'm not really in that scene anymore, but like growing up when we were playing in bands, like when we would stop jamming, we'd go skateboarding, and skateboarding and punk rock were like super intertwined. But now it doesn't seem like it's much like that, but it very much was at the time. So that's what comes with, like, you always seen skateboarders wearing Dickies pants, and you've seen like bands wearing Dickies pants, and it's like there's like a whole culture around even just the fashion of it and the skate and music scene. So it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing.
What is it? What kind of belt was that? It was just where you just
where it hung off.
Yeah. And then, you just closed it, and then, they had the little silver deal at the end of it.
I think it was like Volcom or something like that, like Volcom belts. Yeah.
I had a Zero, I believe. They had a bunch of them. It was just, but yeah, man, you're speaking my language here. I love it. Like, I don't meet a lot of people like that. A lot of people that just, my brother, he was older, so he was more into like and which I was too, like Korn and Limp Bizkit and all that, all that, like that too. But it was just like, this was my stuff, man.
Yeah. And what's crazy too is I just spent a week in Toronto a couple of weeks ago, and I was working around a lot of other Indigenous artists, and there's this jazz band called the Blue Moon Marquee, and they're like just super jazzy. And I didn't really talk to them that much the first day. Nothing like against them. It was just everyone was getting to know each other. And then one day, one of the guys came up to me, and he's just like, man, you keep talking about how you're in punk bands and stuff. Like, we started off in punk rock, and like we became best friends after that. Like we're talking about punk bands we liked. And then other mentors around that program were like, yeah, I'm into punk. And all those people, like, I bonded with them so much because like, that's such a, like, it's kind of like that thing, like you get bullied for like wearing makeup or wearing like punk rock clothing or whatever. But then when you see someone walk down the street with a Bad Religion t-shirt or a Blink t-shirt, you're like, yo, like, you're my people. I'm gonna be friends with you. And it's like that now to this day. Like, you meet people that were into punk, and it's not like I feel like it's different for any other type of music where it's like, oh, you like hip hop, cool, everyone likes hip hop. But it's like, oh, you like punk, like we're like this, we have the same mindset almost. Like, we can be friends like right off the bat. It's such a bonding thing to have, and I'm so grateful for that, because I've made some of the closest friends in my life because of punk rock and just music in general.
Have you seen that meme like on Facebook where it's got Tom about to sing his lyrics on "I Miss You"?
Yeah,
the "Where Are You?" And I was like, I knew that was going to be a hit before y'all knew it was going to be a hit. At the time, they only heard what is it? Their first song from that album,
Feeling This.
Yeah, Feeling This.
Yeah,
and I went and bought, as soon as it come out, went and bought the album or the CD. Back in the day, the good old days. And I listened to it. If I bought a CD, I'd play the one I knew that I heard, and then I'd go back and I'd play the very first song and just let it. And that was a lot of good things about like bands like that, is Sum 41 would have like interludes where they would just play, and it would lead into Chuck was my very first one.
Oh, Chuck is an iconic album, one of my favorite albums of all time.
Like, the intro, it was just boom, and then it
no reason comes in.
No reason comes on, dude.
Craziness. I remember, it's weird because I'm 23, so like when Self-Titled by Blink dropped, I was only I was like 5 years old, but I remember feeling this video and being like, I shouldn't be watching this. It's kind of dirty, it's kind of raunchy. But I remember thinking, that guy looks cool, man. Like, his hair looks cool, he sings cool, he sounds like a chipmunk, but like they're like dressed like, they're not dressed up like boy bands, or they're kind of like, it's like, it just seems so punk, and you didn't even know what punk was. You're like, this guy's got a lip ring, like this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And then even I Miss You, and it's like, this is dark, like they're still looking real emo and all this stuff. And it's just like, it like music was cool to me then, but it was more so just like the vibe of like, that was like the music video age. Like everyone was in a music video. So I just remember those videos like when I was a kid, and like Try Honesty by Billy Talent too. And it's like the visuals always got me too. So
yeah. And
I was just a kid.
The good stuff like that, the I Miss You. Like I remember people who only listen to hip hop, they knew the song. Like, they didn't particularly pick that preference of the song or whatever. It wasn't like that was their go-to song, but it was like they knew the song, they knew the lyrics, they knew the chorus.
That's so funny you say that, just because like I was in the car with my buddy and me and him just listen to hip hop together. Like, we bond over hip hop a lot. But I was just like, man, I'm gonna put this guy onto some Blink, and I put on I Miss You, and he's kind of turning up. He's like, yo, is this a banger? And I'm like, yeah. And then I played him one of my songs like a little bit later, and he's like, kind of sound like that dude from Blink 182. And I was like, you have no idea how much of a compliment that is to me, man. Like it was the best compliment I've ever received.
Like I always used to try to do my voice, how
my tongue, the long voice.
Like all that stuff, dude.
Yeah, man.
Like Good Charlotte was another one.
Yeah, Good Charlotte was
harmonized, and that was kind of what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to sing not only the lead, but I wanted to sing the backup, because it was two brothers and they pretty much had the same voice and they harmonized them. And it's like the beauty in that, a lot of people don't get that. Like it's just it's just a song I don't really care about. And I was like, no, you got to listen. Like it.
For real. And it's like people hated on bands like in the early 2000s, a lot of the pop punk bands, because they're like, oh, they're sellouts, they did this. But it's like, without those bands, a lot of my generation would never have gotten into bands like the Descendants or Bad Religion or NoFX. You know what I mean? Because we got into the Good Charlottes, the Billy Talents, Sum 41s, the Blinks, and then we're like, I love this music. Where did these guys get their influence from? And then we start getting into punk rock and stuff. Because like back in the day, people would find out from punk rock from like, I don't know, like skate videos, surf videos, and word of mouth and stuff. But now with the age of the internet, we can just find out who our favorite bands were listening to too, and then find out what bands they were listening to. And it always just comes back to like mostly like the same type of music. So yeah, but it's like you gotta like they made it poppy, but that's the good cool part is they made punk rock like consumable to general people who wouldn't have gotten into punk rock, and then now they're into punk rock, and that's cool. Or some of them just got into Good Charlotte and never dug any deeper. But like it's a big shout out to those bands for like really putting on for that whole scene.
It's crazy.
No.
Where can people find your music? Like, give us platforms, what to look up.
I always say this every time I get asked this. I'm like, if you just look up Drive to the Common Man on like virtually anything, like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, all those places, you'll find me, because it's a weird name, so people aren't gonna like, you know what I mean? It's not like one of those things where another thing's gonna show up. If you should look up Drive to the Common Man on anything, you'll probably find me. And if you don't, then like, you probably spelled it wrong or something. But yeah, if you look up Drive to the Common Man, you'll see my stuff everywhere. Not everywhere, but you know what I mean? If you look for it, it'll be there.
What's your ultimate goal with this? Like,
I just want to like play as much as possible now that everything's opening up. At the beginning there was no chance at shows. So I just was just using my own studio and kind of just learning how to write music all over again, because it was a different project. It was a different sound. It was a different vibe completely. So it all just started off just like trying to relearn how to make music into something that's more modern for me, like something that like pulling out influences, like I said before, like kind of from like island music or hip hop music, or you know what I mean? So, but now that shows are opening up and I'm booking a lot more shows, I don't have a wife or a girlfriend or a kid. And it's like, I'm down to be on the road and play anywhere, everywhere as much as possible until, I can't anymore. And that's like the punk rock mentality. Is like, people are going to find your music. Yeah, the internet's a good place, but no one's really going to appreciate it fully until they see it live. Yeah. So it's like, I want to be out and play for as many people as possible. And I'm lucky enough. I've got a good following from different places around like Turtle Island for sure. So it's like I want to be able to go to those places and play and hopefully get more fans and have more people kind of supporting me, and so I can keep doing it, if anything, you know what I mean? Just keep playing and keep playing.
I mean, you know, that's what this whole thing is for, is to just, if I can help push plays out, if I can help, you know, anything, that's all I really want to do. Like,
I appreciate that, bro.
No problem, man. Any advice you got for like any up and comers that's trying to get started, trying to, you know, when I was younger, you know, we always had people, you know, hey man, let me get in the studio, let me get in the studio, let me get whatever, and all those guys. And it was like, dude, you know, this literally cost me like $150, and there's 3 of y'all. That's $50. Like, you can't come up with $50 a piece. Come like, if I did, you know, it wasn't top of the line stuff, but you know, I made it work.
Yeah.
And that was always my stuff was, you know, dude, get your own stuff. You don't ever have to ask anybody. If you, you know, it's 11:30 at night, you know, and you're buzzed up, feeling good, whatever you're doing, and you're like, dude, let's record something.
Let's make some music.
Yeah, let's make some music. The greatest song ever, dude.
Ever made.
You know, boom, just hit record and you're going. So, you know, what's something you would tell these younger generations that, you know, they're trying to find some way to get into the business?
I mean, like, there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's like, for me, it's more just like, I want everyone just be real. You know what I mean? Don't do anything that you're not comfortable doing, because when you put yourself out, especially in a way where you're not in like the public eye by any means, but like when you're, you know, I've been lucky enough to have like a good social media presence in the past couple of years, and I owe all that to just being real on the internet and not doing anything that I don't want to do just for the sake of getting people to listen to me. Because at the end of the day, if you move honest and you move the way you want to move, then the right people are going to listen to you, not people who are just going to pick up one thing that you do and then never ever support you ever again. So it's just being real and being very, very careful about who you trust in the industry, because there's going to be a lot of people that are just going to try to hop on what you're doing, and you know, that, you know, kind of join this crew or join this clique. And it's like, you don't need anybody. Like, you got to be able to make it yourself at least a little bit before you even start trying to do something with somebody else. So just not fully like, not like dissing anybody, but just like respecting your own boundaries and making sure that you're taken care of first. Like, you're your own priority first. Like, don't worry about if someone's coming up to you saying, oh man, we're from the same place or we're the same ethnicity or whatever. Like, that stuff doesn't mean too much to me, because there's snakes everywhere. It doesn't matter if they're if they come from the same background as you or anything. So I feel like that gets used a lot too. Like, oh, we Indigenous artists need to stick together. And it's like, not necessarily. Like, we need to like support each other and we need to like uplift each other, but there's that whole crabs in the bucket thing too. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to tear you down too. So it's like, don't just trust anybody that's going to say, hey, look, we're brothers. You know what I mean? Let's do this together. It's like, no, man, like, I don't know you. I'm down to do something that benefits us mutually, but you know what I mean? Just be very careful about who you work with. And the other thing too is like, just start off doing stuff with people you know and you respect and you like, and you're going to have more fun in the long run anyway. So it's just about, again, it's just moving honestly. And that's kind of that punk rock mentality of just doing what you want to do and doing it yourself to a certain extent. Obviously you can't do everything yourself, but doing everything that you can yourself in your power, like, and you know what I mean? Doing all that. But yeah, just moving honest is probably the most important thing. And be prepared to make a lot of sacrifices. Like, if you really want to make music and your main priority is to make a quick bag, like, you're getting in the wrong industry. I'm going to tell you that now. You know what I mean? Like, obviously there's people making money off music, but I'd say 99.9% of them have hustled their ass off just to get there. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're just getting into music for a quick bag, like, you know what I mean? Like, do it, I guess. That's your thing. I'm not going to tell no one not to do nothing, but it's like, you got to be able to make a lot of sacrifices for what you love. And this is all I got. I'm not good at anything else. So it's like, I'm going to go full force into music because there's nothing else for me to do. You know what I mean?
I mean, at 23, man, you got plenty of time. I mean, you know, as far as before you had to make you know, before you have to be like, look, you know, whatever, if it hadn't happened, I'm 38.
Yeah,
No,
I should
maybe,
probably get a real
I should
job.
probably, you know, so, you know, by all means, man. My bad. Kids,
You're good.
that right there, man. That right there. Come running out. I need my Switch charger. And like, no, I just, you're okay. Stay over there in your room. You know, before you have to deal with that, man, you know, go do it. But yeah, man, like I said, I let my wife listen to it, and she was like, that sounds like something that would be on the radio, like the XM. That, you know,
Yeah, appreciate it.
yeah, she was like, you know, that sounds like something that would be on there. You know, I told everybody it's kind of like a weekend vibe, you know, kind of that,
Nice.
like that stuff. So,
Yeah.
and I kind of got like I don't know, the punk rock type stuff like that deal mixed in with it. So, you know, I
Yeah,
like it, man.
definitely the singing, because I don't pride myself in being a great singer. Like, I like singing. I think I'm honestly okay at it, but I'm not like a very, like, I'm not like I don't even know how to explain it, but there's people that are really good at singing. But I think for what I do and what I've learned to, at least playing heavy music, it's like I can sing like that. I'm not going to change up how I'm singing for pop music. I might as well just sing the same way.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are just like, it's like super like Tom DeLonge, or like it's kind of like pop punk vocals. And I'm like, that's just my voice. I don't know. I'm not trying to do that. It's just how it happens. But I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's pretty good, man. What keeps you motivated, like through the daily distractions and stuff? Just, you know, like you said, you know, this business, it's kind of, you know, if you're looking for that straight shot to the top, like you're in for a rude awakening, you know, what keeps you, you know, there's got to be some points where it's like, crap, you know, didn't work out this way, or, you know, maybe you're really wanting this gig or something like that, and somebody else got it or stuff. You know, what keeps you going?
I just gotta believe, like, I truly, like, I don't know, a lot of things have happened in my life that are not been cool, you know what I mean? So it's like I've tried to keep like a very healthy mindset about everything. Like, if it's not this, then it's going to be the next thing, or if this didn't work out, there's a reason this didn't work out. So I have to be thankful that I'm even just here in general, and I'm healthy, and I'm breathing, and I still have family and friends and stuff. So it's like, obviously those moments suck, and you're kind of like, oh my God, like, is it even worth it to try anymore? But that doesn't last too long for me anymore, because I've kind of gone in the routine of just being like, yeah, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And maybe, and it's been proven so many times, when I think that I'm done, or I think that no one cares anymore, like, I just pray, and then something happens, like, eventually, like, and then, like, even like at the beginning of March, I was like, I'm getting no shows. I've got no anything. Nothing's happening. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have any songs to release. Like, this sucks. And like, legit, like a month later, like, my entire summer is packed with shows. So it's like, things just happen randomly. So like, you can beat yourself up. That's fine. You know what I mean? That's healthy. I'm not going to say, you know, just dust yourself off and get up. You know, sometimes you need to sit in that funk, you know what I mean? And just sit there being like, oh man, I suck. You just humble yourself.
Yeah.
But then eventually, like, what's supposed to happen to you? And if you put out good energy into the world, that energy is going to come back to you. So it eventually comes back to you. So now I'm very grateful I have these shows, and I have, you know, things to look forward to and stuff like that. But obviously there's going to be moments, that I'm going to have to keep that mindset through. And it's just about, you know, like, and that's the other thing too, is a lot of things happen in life that really put things into perspective. Like when you lose somebody, or something happens in your personal life, and in those moments, the last thing you think about is like your Spotify streams or your shows, and you know, like that. None of that stuff really matters. At the very end of the day, it's about your family, and your friends. And the thing about music that is so like deep to you, not just the getting attention or getting streams, it's about expressing yourself and telling your story. Like, that's what music should be about. And the other stuff is all business, and that's, you know, how you make money, and that stuff has to be done too. But I think just remembering why you're doing it in the first place is super important. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Especially like over the last couple of years, I have, you know, pretty much more and more just a believer in if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Yeah,
You know, like you were
absolutely.
saying, you know, if this didn't happen for me, you know, something better is coming. You know,
Yeah.
keep that mentality, keep that, you know, keep that going, that motivation. That, you know, this didn't happen, but it happened for a reason. It didn't happen for a reason. Like,
you
know, something else is coming up, something probably even bigger, something even better. So
absolutely, that's the mindset.
Any projects? You talked about the, you know, your summer gigs and stuff. Any other projects, new music, any, you know, album or anything you're working on?
Nothing like album. I've just been kind of trying to redesign what Drives the Common Man is, not completely like musically, but more so like lyrically. And a lot of the songs I've kind of put out are very like, you know, singing about girls and stuff, and that's fine. You know, everyone does that, but as the past couple of years have been very heavy on everybody, a lot of things have happened to the world and, you know, people, and I want to start making a bit more meaningful music that way. And I just want to like change up my lyrics and make something that I can listen to in 10 years and say, I kind of captured a moment in time for the world. And, you know, just trying to make music like that I really want to hear. You know what I mean? Like, I like all the music I've put out so far, but it'd be cool to do something a little bit more meaningful, a little bit deeper, a little bit darker. And then but yeah, just but at the same time not forcing myself to do anything, just making what music I want to make at the time. And then I have a band called Midwest Mount that is like an emo band kind of, and we're planning on dropping another song or another project probably in the next few months too. So just trying to stay busy with music and stuff like that. So yeah, shows, I don't know, I'm not gonna name the shows because they're not like confirmed. Well, I guess they're confirmed, but they haven't like talked about the show, so I don't want to like just start talking about it now. But there are shows, and I'll be everywhere, so hopefully, you know, people can catch me at those shows and stuff like that. But mostly just staying busy and just having a good time. Like, I'm young and the summer's starting, and I'm gonna be away from home like 90% of the summer, which is good, and I'm excited for that. So yeah, it'll be a good time.
Well, I hope you do have a good time, man. If you had one chance to sell your music to a prospective fan, what would you say? Like, if you're somebody's just kind of, you know, you're walking down the street and you'll be like, hey, you know, I've, you know, everybody's been there. Hey man, check my music out. You know, back then we had CDs and stuff, you know, check this out. And everybody's like, you ain't nobody, you know, whatever, you know, sit there. They don't want to hear it, period. Like they don't even want to, okay, let me check you out. Let me see, you know, if you had one thing to sell it to a prospective fan, what would you say?
It's hard to say because I can't ever see myself doing that. If you know what I mean, like I guess in certain times you'd have to, but I've always just been kind of like, you know what, if you know who's going to listen to it and who's going to want to listen to it, they'll listen to it. But if I had to, I don't know, I'd be like, do you like shaking your butt? Then here's my CD, and you'll probably shake your butt to it. And if not, you can throw this in the fire or something. I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Just be like, I don't know, like you like fun music, listen to this.
that would probably work. You know,
I think it would work. Everyone likes to shake their butt. Like, that's the thing. Like, even if you don't have a butt, everyone likes to shake something.
That was not a shot at our native ladies.
That was not at all, but it kind of was at the same time.
Just be honest.
Just being honest.
Just being honest, you know.
Yeah.
But man, it was good to talk to you.
Yeah, man, I had a really good time talking to you. Appreciate you.
No problem, man. Let's do this again, man, after the summer or something, you know.
I'm down. Absolutely. Hopefully there's more to talk about the shows and stuff like that. And you know, maybe some more music or something.
Yeah, I'm actually, you know, I'm trying to get this one up and running, and then I'm hoping I can get just like an all music based deal to where we just talk about music, man.
Yeah, I'm down, honestly, because like when we were talking about Blink and punk, I was like, we can just keep doing this. I don't even care if we talk about my music.
I was kind of like that too. It was like, I got more questions. Let me get.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll definitely have to have another talk.
Yeah, man. That was Drives the Common Man. Thank you for coming on, man.
Hey, thank you for having me, bro. Appreciate you.
No problem, man. God bless you.
Yeah, you too, bro.